Spring training is here. Pitchers and catchers have reported. This is Beyond the Diamond podcast here on the Apollo Podcast Network. Apollo, Dez, producer Josh, Brian Lima here with you. Spring training is here, fellas. I know you guys are getting ready to go down to spring training, but pitchers and catchers have reported right out of the gate. JP France, shoulder soreness. Justin Verlander, shoulder soreness. They're calling it a hiccup for both of those guys. This morning, as we record this on a Thursday, Justin Verlander's thrown off a mound, so there's a little bit of good news, but
we've never been so bad.
Not a hot start.
We've never been
not a hot
so
start.
bad.
Fellas, how's your shoulders feeling?
Right now, I feel good.
Look,
man.
we had a slower start. I'm like
Yeah.
JV, as we get a little bit older, you can't do what you did back in 20 years ago, like Brian when he was 20.
Mm-hmm.
You just can't. You got to change your.
First
you got
of
to
all,
change your routines.
hold on.
You got to change your
Stop.
routines up. And look,
I'm
we're
not
fine.
40.
We're fine.
Can you walk us through what he's going through right now?
Yeah. Can you just kind of? You're in the same vein as
Didn't
Verlander.
you? Aren't you? You're in your 30s now. You understand that, right?
No, I'm saying like my reps are behind as
Right.
well. I have a few.
So
hiccups.
you're 2 weeks behind.
We'll say 2 weeks as well.
Yeah. I can't.
Started popping Tums. No free ads. It's tough. It's rough.
I take an antacid pill every
it's
morning.
Rough.
I tell you what, dude,
Cherish it.
I have to, yeah, whatever
Cherish
you
it.
do, enjoy your 20s.
Look, it's
I sit in an ice bath every day, but who's counting?
Spring training.
Yeah,
Hey,
guys being dudes.
Brady
out in spring
didn't
training.
show up to training camp till like week 5. Like,
Yeah,
hey,
it's fine, man. You need to give him time
Put
anyways.
your feet up, relax a little
Yeah,
bit.
take your shoes off, kick your feet up, stay a while.
Yeah.
you
So
know?
worry meter 1 through 10. Where
10.
y'all at?
Just kidding. I was gonna do the same thing right now. Oh my god, dude! I mean, shit. If you would have looked at
There's your clip.
the Astros, yeah, exactly. If you would have looked at the Astros Twitter timeline yesterday, dude, the world was falling.
Yeah.
Dude,
I mean, holy shit!
It was Game
People
7
were-
ALCS
people
all
were-
over again.
People were freaking out. I think there's a little concern, right? But dude, we're at day 2 of pitchers and catchers reporting. The first full workout isn't until Monday, the 19th. So it's very early. My whole question is like, what did your offseason regimen look at? And then when did you feel this shoulder soreness for both of those guys? But again, I think my worry is not as much. I've been saying it all offseason. Go get another frontline arm. Jordan Montgomery's still out there, by the way, even though he's wanting 20 to 25 million, which I think is fucking crazy.
Snell's still
But
out there.
Snell's still out there, So
Friend of the program.
yeah,
Met him in New Orleans.
oh, you did. That's right. You saw him at the casino.
Try to
Yeah.
entice him. Maybe it works.
Yeah.
Maybe my offer is the only offer he has
Right.
on the table. It
Yeah.
was a deferred payment plan and a limited drinks on Bourbon Street credit
Oh, okay,
for life.
perfect.
So that may
Well.
honestly, we may be the leader in the clubhouse.
Yeah, I still don't understand how him and Jordan Montgomery have not found teams. Like,
Is it-
how are they unemployed?
Is it weird?
Uh huh.
Let's just actually. You want to get Josh, producer Josh? Can we get that little? No, the little Alex Jones hat going.
Oh, God. The
Can we-
foil hat.
Can we say that on YouTube? Can
Yes,
we say
you
his
can.
name?
You can say Alex Jones. He's back on Twitter now, so.
I don't want to mess up the curl.
Got to be shitting
I
me.
don't want to.
Dude, don't mess up the Jerry curl.
I don't. There's something afoot.
It's falling.
There's something afoot.
Conspiracy. It fell.
There's something afoot.
Uh-huh. What is it?
Why? Like the patterns. Like when we saw it with like the juice balls, and that
Mhm.
was like a big free agent class for the starting pitchers, right?
Uh-huh.
It seemed like juice balls were there to affect the starting pitchers.
Yeah.
And then we had the dead balls affect when there was a big hitters free agent class. Why are no owners, GMs outside of Crane and Co. spending money on relievers right now and starters? We're at pitchers and
Yeah,
they
have
are reporting.
Yeah.
Why are we not getting these dogs in there? I
don't
mean,
know.
what are we doing? Is something's afoot? It's 3 years in a row, dude.
So do you think, with that being said, what do you think the league's going to look like this year? Do you think there's going to be more home runs, less home runs, more strikeouts, less strikeouts?
Let's look at next year's free agent class.
Yeah.
I think that's how we'll just dictate more or less picks on Price Picks using Code Apollo from here on out.
Good plug, dude.
Dude, that
You're
was
getting,
good.
You're getting good
Dude,
at
the
those.
spring training. It was a little hiccup.
Wow,
a little
that was
hiccup.
good. Yeah. Let's just
Um,
hope these hiccups don't end up like Bo Jackson's hiccups.
Oh, yeah,
Did you ever see Bo Jackson's hiccups?
I actually heard on Sports Talk 790 Sean Salisbury show with you at Sean.
The who?
Yeah, Sean Salisbury show
Yeah.
at 7.
He had hiccups for a year. He
Yeah,
had to have
I heard that.
surgery. He even he was smelling a porcupine's ass to try
That's
to
rough.
get rid of the hiccups.
Can you imagine
Literally,
having hiccups for a year?
that'd be horrible. Imagine when you're drinking, you got a nice little buzz and the hiccups start. Those are the absolute worst. Imagine having
hiccups
those
when you eat
for
something
a
hot,
year.
dude. Like when you eat like some hot salsa and like
Yeah.
it catches you.
Like when you used to do the hot chip challenge.
Yeah.
Right? Like throwback to our early days. Yeah, you remember
Just
those
like
boys?
that.
Wow. We are all over the map this morning.
Let
But
me run through some starting pitching free agents.
I
Okay.
have not signed.
Innings eaters that are available still.
okay.
I know one guy.
We
We
got
already
Grant-
named the top guys.
I know
that
one
want,
guy
like,
that could save
25
all of us.
Zach Greinke.
Jake
So-
Odorizzi.
So we have
My
Zach
my
Greinke,
lover and friend.
Odo.
Jake Odorizzi, Johnny Cueto, Rich Hill, Brad Keller,
Dick Mountain.
Vincent Velasquez. Remember him?
Blast of the pass.
Julio Teheran,
Mm-hmm.
Jamie Barria, Mike Clevenger.
It's a hard pass. Absolutely not.
Ryu is available. And Brandon Woodruff, he's hurt.
He's out all this
so,
year.
But yeah, I mean that's
Not
pretty much it.
much.
Corey
Odo.
Kluber, you know,
He just retired though.
did he retire?
He just retired.
Oh, okay,
Klubot.
he's still on the list. But
All very good.
yeah, I mean there's options there. Somebody that can get 100
Odo.
innings.
Just go get Johnny Cueto. Add it to the Latin flair. We got a lot of it here. Why not?
If you can get a guy that
I just
can
need
give
so
you-
many innings.
Yeah,
What, like,
100 innings with like a 4 ERA, 4.5 even. Like,
but is that already in house? Is that a Brandon Belak? Is it a Spencer Arrighetti?
That's-
Is
Yeah.
it someone where you don't have to spend money? Like,
yeah,
is it someone you just? And I think you can maybe dictate the first couple of weeks of camp and realize like, hey, do we need to go do something?
see how guys look. Yeah,
Or do the Astros move off a piece to go get a piece already established?
Yeah. Dana Brown spoke yesterday to the media at spring training, and he said that he's always looking for pitching. So if it makes sense, they're going to make that move. So
If you're still watching,
Still
we were
open to
on Naps Alert. We were on Naps Alert for the last 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I'm not going more into that. If you've been with us, you should know. If not, drop in the comments, ask what naps are.
Yep.
But we were on Naps. We were on Naps Alert for a little bit. So Dana Brown, he's straight poker face. He will tell
Yeah.
you what he has, and he wants pitching.
yeah, and he's talked about middle relief. He's talked about a front end starter. I want to get y'all's take on this. We've been asked at the radio station over the last week about, well, not the last week, probably the last 2 days, especially with JP France saying his shoulder's sore. Justin Verlander, same issue, but he's thrown off the mound today. But we've been asked multiple times, why wouldn't the Astros just give Trevor Bauer a shot? He was on a podcast last week. He talked about signing for the league minimum to prove himself. He just wants an opportunity. So why would you not just sign him?
I don't think any team made.
I don't think anybody's going to sign him either.
Anyone's gonna
Yeah.
touch that.
I wouldn't touch it.
No.
No. You can take, look,
There's-
for me, take away everything that he got in trouble for with the women that accused him of all of that stuff. And I'm not going to get into everything. If you follow baseball, you know what he was accused of doing and everything that happened. At the end of the day, he's a fucking asshole.
yeah. But even before all this,
That's what I'm saying. Take
Yeah.
all that away before that. He's a fucking
remember
asshole.
when he
Why would
threw
you want that
remember
in
when
your
he
locker
threw
room?
the ball over center field?
Yeah, when he was with the Reds.
When you built a sustained run of success,
yeah,
culture
Yes,
is the bedrock and foundation.
absolutely.
You don't blow it up because you need someone to eat innings.
Yeah.
I don't care. I don't care if he won 5 Cy Youngs. You just
No.
when you are on this run that you're on and you want to continue to run it, and you've made investments and a ton of money investments
Yeah.
in the last few weeks
Yeah.
to be like, hey, we're still going for it and we're going to continue to go for it in this window. You can't just drop dynamite on your
yeah. It's like
foundation
throwing a
hole and be
grenade
like,
in
hey,
the
we're
clubhouse.
Yeah, you can't.
yeah.
And that's who was, I think we mentioned this on our last podcast, on the last edition of Beyond the Diamond. Who was the guy that they shot down at the trade deadline 2 years ago? The catcher for the
Contreras.
Cubs?
Contreras, yeah.
Who was it?
Wilson Contreras.
Wilson Contreras. They heard that he was a bad clubhouse guy.
Yep.
So we're not going to bring him in. You look at one of the big reasons why they signed Josh Hader, outside of him being one of the best closers in baseball, he is a phenomenal teammate. It's been said amongst current players and old teammates of his that he is a great clubhouse guy. The culture here in Houston has been built and established. That's why this run has happened, because the culture matters.
And look, there's people that build culture, there's people that enforce culture, and there's people that sustain culture. And I
Yeah.
think we're on the sustain part because you have so many guys that have come and left that are superstars, regular Joes, whoever, but big culture guys. And they've been able to hand off the baton to someone to carry that for them. Maldi got a ton of hate. He was a culture guy. Doesn't matter. He's leaving a mark for the next 4 years of
Yeah.
what he did there. Dusty Baker got a lot of hate. Big culture guy. I mean, in the middle of the biggest shitstorm ever, he was the one to be able to calm everything down.
Yep.
You could go back to Correa, Keuchel, Springer, all those guys, etc. And I think we're sitting on a video we haven't posted on YouTube. We posted on Instagram. I did an interview with Lance at the Houston Sports Awards, and all he did was talk about culture. And I asked him about it. I was like, "Hey, do you feel as a tenured guy who's been here as long as the Bregman and Altuve's, you're one of that last kind of first wave of people. How do you keep that culture going? Is it fall on you more?" And he was like, "No, it spreads out on everyone." He talked about Tuck. He talked about Carantini. He talked about Diaz. He talked about all these different people, and as himself as well. He talked about what he's going to do as a leader of the team. But it's all hands on deck, and you just can't throw a wild card in there that can jeopardize it all, because people don't realize, and I think that's the reason why people get on Twitter or play MLB The Show, and we're all guilty of it, is you have 26 guys, and I say it every freaking episode, 26 guys from all different parts of the world, all different upcomings, all different makeups, different religions, different beliefs, different everything. And they're all in this room together for 160 plus games and days. And they spend more time with these guys than they do their actual families.
Yep.
And so when we're in a room together for more than a month, we hate each other.
Yeah.
But I'll go to war for you guys. It happens. So to be able to do that, and do that for a long period of time, it's special. And you can look at the dynasty that the Yankees had. You can look at the dynasty the Patriots had, the Warriors, everyone in sports, either the Giants, the Red Sox, whoever. There was a culture established during that time period of winning. And when that culture goes, the winning drops off. So I think in all aspects, you have to do whatever you do decision-wise to keep culture at the forefront.
Yeah. I mean, you look at guys that have been brought in here a little bit after the run started. I'll use Michael Brantley, for example. He got brought in 2019, right? After the 2018, they lose to the Red Sox in the ALCS. Bring him in 2019. They gave him a lot of credit in the World Series when they won it in 2022 because of the speeches that he made to the guys in the clubhouse. He was not able to play. He was on IR or IL, and he was not able to play. But they brought in a good clubhouse guy, and he just happened to he could roll out of bed and hit 300. But he continued to build the culture with the rest of these guys. And now we are, like you said, we're a part of sustaining this culture. So you're not going to just bring in, let's say, I'm not even going to name somebody. Let's say a starter for the Astros goes down. He's not going to be, he won't be available until second half of the season, maybe the playoffs. You're not going to go bring in Trevor Bauer just because you need that frontline type starter. You would rather look internal than go bring in a guy that has been known to just be a dick and be loudmouth. Drama surrounds this guy. And what can we judge him off of? Of everything that we've seen. Now he's completely out of the league and begging for a chance to come back and compete. But you're not going to bring in a guy like that. That just doesn't make sense for the Astros. And quite frankly, I don't think it makes sense for any of the big league teams to take a chance on him. I don't think anybody's going to.
It goes back and I look at teams where you had players chirp Tatis before all this stuff in San Diego when they were kind of building the super team. You have the New York media and what that entails, and Judge trying to navigate all that while being a superstar, while also being the captain of the Yankees, and chirps. You have all these. You have the Dodgers and Mookie at FanFest saying that the Dodgers are everyone's World Series. You never see those comments come out of Houston, Texas.
No, you don't. You never do.
And with everything that's gone on, you saw the face of the franchise who wasn't part of anything during that little alleged thing happening, and he just wore it.
Right.
He just like, hey, I'm with my guys. We're all one unit. Some shit happened. Some shit happened everywhere. We're going to wear it. We got ratted out. We're going to wear it. Easily, anyone could have thrown someone under the bus, and no one did here. And then you start seeing all these, and that's why I think it makes the Astros so different from everyone. You don't see the little jabs. You don't see the little remarks. Yes, there's frustrations throughout 162. Yes, there's games you should have won that are frustrating. There's games you are better than a team and you drop a series. Yes, there's all those little frustrations that makes sports. But you never, ever see the little chirps. You never see the jabs in the media. You see the guys, oh, hey, we're focused on the next one. We're focused on this. We're focused on that. And if you ask any of these guys at spring training and you ask anyone working in the organization, the goal is that little fucking trophy right behind you, Brian. That is the mindset. That is the goal. And our worst year was losing Game 7 the ALCS.
Yeah.
That's how you get to where you're trying to get to. And I think that's what makes the Astros so different is because you never see the little jabs, you never see the little pokes, you never see, because over 160, I'll be like, dude, shut the fuck up, dude. Like, I get it. Like, I'm
Yeah.
struggling. Like, shut up. Like, no, you don't see that with the guys. You always see someone picking the other person up. I mean, I think you asked Jeremy Pena, last year was probably the most frustrating year in his entire career of playing baseball,
Yeah.
right? Coming off a World Series MVP,
Yeah.
coming off all that, and having a year where he went 5 months without hitting a tank.
Yeah.
The kid's built like Adonis, and he didn't have a home run for 5 months. What did everyone do? Hey, we have JP3. We have his back. We have his back. His defense didn't carry over. Any point anyone would be like, what are we gonna do, man?
Yeah.
Like he's not hitting. Like, we can only do so much. No, it was never that.
Yeah.
So-
That goes back into the culture. It goes back into what was built after all of those losing seasons. And it started in 2015 when they made that run. And they were right there to advance to the ALCS, right? With the Royals on the ropes, and they ended up losing. But from that point on, outside of like the down year in 2016 when they didn't make the playoffs, the run that started, it's all culture. It's all good clubhouse guys, good teammates that know when they come here, you're expected to be in the ALCS every single season. It's like the Chiefs. If you look at the Chiefs and the Astros parallels, it is freakishly the same. You have 6 AFC titles or appearances for the Chiefs. Now they won title number 3. The Astros have won 2. They've gone to 7 straight ALCSs, so forth and so on. And what do they talk about with the Kansas City Chiefs? Good clubhouse. They got one of the best quarterbacks of all time already, but he's a great leader. I put him and Jose Altuve, same parallel. Great clubhouse guy. He's going to go down as a Hall of Famer, should be a first ballot, greatest Astro of all time, so forth and so on. It's all culture. Culture matters more than people want to talk about and realize, and it goes into everything that you just said. You don't hear shit from the Astros during the year. Even when they're clearing benches, getting a little chippy with the Rangers, after the game, they don't even really address it. They don't even really talk about it. I think the most we heard was like Martin Maldonado after the game where Altuve hit the go-ahead home run. He said the worst thing he did was wake up the Houston Astros, talking about Adolis Garcia. That's it, though.
Yeah,
Other than that, you don't really
true.
ever hear anything because they know what's at stake, and that is the World Series, because this team is built to to get back to the ALCS every single season.
And I think every fan base, with all the chirps and all the tweets, would swap spots with us in a heartbeat and be like, "Oh, you're chirping about the trash cans and you're trolling on Twitter." And if I gave you a magic genie and be like, "Hey, do you want to experience what I've just experienced for the last 7 years? Yes or no?" They would say yes in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
And I think as fans, we kind of get lost in the scope. And honestly, I think it was losing pennants sucks. Losing pennants to your in-state rivals sucks even more. But there was almost a reset within, I think, the fan base and maybe within the org, where when you go from Dusty Baker to Espada, it's a shot in the arm a little bit because look, Dusty's arguably probably the greatest Houston Astros manager of all time.
Yeah.
It's up there. I mean, it's him or Hinch, and I'd probably lean Dusty right now. You have Yonir Diaz, who's going to be, there's not an all-pro team in Major League Baseball, but he's going to be number 1, number 2 catcher in the league in his second year. The passing of the torch there. So you have this like shot in the arm within the fan base and within the team you're about to watch, but also like the inspiration of like, hey, I would probably say last year was our worst year of this run, and we still were a game away from the World Series, and we didn't win at home.
Yeah, you
4
came
games.
you came home and you had 2 opportunities to win at home to go to the World Series.
That's going to fire me up as a competitor.
Yeah.
And then you have your owner who in the media was portrayed as someone that wasn't going to spend.
Yeah.
Just said, hey, here's $95 million to a closer. Hey, here's an extension to the face of our franchise. We're still fucking going for it. And as he said, as long as I'm here, the window's open. And he's been showing it. And time again, he's spending money. And that fires me up. But I think it goes back, circling back one more time to the culture thing. Josh Hader, $95 million. That's generational money. His great-great-grandkids are set for life. And the first comment's like, hey, I'm here to win a World Series.
Yeah.
People, $95 million is great. I'd be like, this is awesome. But my first comments and my second comment, my third comment's like, I want to win. I've seen these guys out there. I've seen them celebrate. I was with this organization for a little bit. I know some of these guys, and now I want what they have. $95 million is great. but I want a ring.
Yeah.
That fired me up.
Let's get back into some spring training stuff.
Yeah. That's exactly what I was going to talk about.
I have the Astros top prospect list here, come out recently on The Athletic. First off, who are you most excited to see this spring training?
Oh man, excited to see. I want to see what Forrest Whitley is going to bring to the table. We have talked about Forrest Whitley.
I'm buying the stock again. Replay last year's. I'm buying the stock again.
We have talked about Forrest Whitley for so long. This is a massive year for him. This is the year for him, meaning it's either you make it to the big leagues or the Astros are probably going to move on from him. So I'm really excited to see what he brings. Will he make his major league debut this season? If he does, I'm going to say it now, it's going to be out of the bullpen, which is fine. That's who I am most excited to see.
You know what?
And by the way, I saw a video of him today on the field. He doesn't look like he's overweight. He doesn't look like he's underweight. He looks good. He looks fit. The tree trunks look a little bit bigger. So, we've talked about he's tweaked with his mechanics before. He's come in underweight. He's come in overweight. He's gotten in trouble with
who hasn't taken Adderall?
Yeah,
dog?
A little Addy.
Who hasn't?
Yeah,
who hasn't among us?
So yeah, that's the first name that comes to mind for me.
I love that. I love that take. I'll give you the prospect, the guy, but I really super excited for Hunter Brown.
Yeah,
I think there was a big learning curve. Obviously, he's graduated out of the prospect list. I think there was a lot of weight on him to fill those Verlander shoes. There's a lot with just the Detroit connection with the mirrors, the mechanics of, and there was just a lot thrusted upon that kid. Obviously, getting Verlander back, getting the other guys. I'm super excited to see his growth. Man, I am pumped to see Spencer Arrietty.
Yeah,
I think that's a guy who
he could solve all this whole
issue.
He
solves everything.
Yeah.
I think in the sense of not being just a dude that comes out and dominates. He could just be a catalyst and just calm everything down. And I think he has the stuff. I think he has the moxie. I bet he was pissed he wasn't called up in that late stretch. He deserved it.
We filmed the whole video.
We filmed videos. We have a video we're going to drop that's a year old. That's about Spencer.
Welcome, Spencer.
I think when you get a guy that's wired the way he is, and then you give him a chip on the shoulder, those guys are dangerous.
Right.
And they got some stuff that plays.
If both him and Hunter Brown are better than average, then
Astros win 100 plus games. This is early. Astros win 100 plus games this year.
A position player for me, Pedro Leon.
Woo!
Okay.
I'm going to see him. I know Dana Brown has talked about Pedro Leon over the last couple of weeks. Is it time for Pedro Leon to make his? He's just an outfielder now. He's listed as purely an outfielder.
He's fallen down in the prospect rankings.
Yeah,
I think this is his put up or shut up year.
Yeah, it's another name that I'm interested to see what he's going to do, because then it goes back into the discussion of who's your everyday center fielder. Is it Chaz? Is it Jake Myers? Who's going to play left? Is it Jordan?
Who's on first?
Yeah, who's playing first base? What's his name? Joe Espada, the manager, said that Jordan is going to play left field, even though we heard a couple weeks prior that he might not play a lot of left field. So I want Chaz in center field. I want Chaz as the everyday center fielder. Yeah. I don't want Jake Myers. And that's no disrespect to Jake Myers. So if Pedro Leon can step up and make his way to the big league level and play some outfield a little bit, then I would love to see it.
I think Jake is serviceable. I think pre-injury Jake was phenomenal. And I've said it. Labrams,
he looked like the future.
Labrams they're the worst. It's not an ACL. It's not top. Labrams are the worst injuries in baseball. And I think last year was just him kind of getting over that mental barrier. I
still believe in you, Jake.
I still think he can do it. I don't think he's gonna be your everyday center fielder, but if he goes out there and gives you, he's defensively. I know you're not an analytics guy. His defensive analytics are great, and sometimes he takes bad routes. Sometimes it's a little off.
I've seen his defensive metrics; they're really good.
But 3 years ago, people were talking about Tucker's routes. Like it's year to year. Things tend to. With the Astros, the lights start to turn on when they need to.
Kyle Tucker, Jake Myers.
I'm not saying. I'm just
Kyle
saying.
Tucker was like untouchable.
People had conversations about Tucker's routes. People have conversations about Jake's routes. Sometimes I say, "Hey, nice route, Magellan," on some of his routes, and it's a
Somebody
little
get the kid a
jabby. It's a
GPS.
jab, but sometimes it's true. But I think Jake Myers can be serviceable. And I think he can play at a level that he doesn't have to be a superstar out there. He doesn't have to be J-Rod. He's just got to be serviceable.
Let me go through the top 10 prospects and see if any of these jump out to you as potentially making it this year.
So you're asking if they make it on this big league squad out of camp or just
This
throughout
season.
the okay.
I'll start with 10. I'll go down. Number 10, they have Colin Barber. He's 23. He's been in the system a lot. I love his swing, man. Lefty swing.
Smooth.
Outfielder. Zach Cole, lefty swing. Outfielder. He's 23. So we're deep in outfield.
Got a lot of corner guys.
Jose Fleury. I've seen him a few times. He's only 22. Potential. Number 7 is Will Wagner.
He'll have a lot of run at camp.
He's gonna have a lot of run at camp. Yeah. Joey Luperfido, another outfielder, 25.
Rakes.
So
I think he could be a bench bat.
He might be.
I think him and Cabbage are competing for a spot.
And then you have Bryce Matthews, 22, shortstop.
He's
Number
still got
5.
a couple years, I think.
Yeah, I think he does. Spencer Arrighetti, number 4.
I think he breaks camp.
Yeah.
I think he breaks camp.
DeZenzo, third
Zenzo's-
base.
He's pretty
I
damn
think he
good.
breaks
24.
camp, dude.
Yeah, Zenzo's pretty good. I watched a video on him on TikTok, and he's pretty good.
Dude, you big on TikTok, dude?
Luis
TikTok guy.
Luis
My
Baez,
burner account, though.
outfielder. He's only 20.
That guy's good.
rakes. That kid he's a number 2 prospect, and he's only 20.
Who is that?
Luis Baez.
Okay, so I thought you said.
And then number 1 is Jacob Melton, 23, another lefty outfielder. We have like 4 lefty outfielders in our top 10 prospects.
What's the kid's name that we traded for Justin Verlander?
Gilbert and the kid that we got from Vanderbilt that didn't sign. We gave him a lot of money.
On his name.
High school kid. Fuck.
He was the one that was. He's the one that was actually better than Gilbert.
Yeah,
right?
it started with R, I think.
Why?
Clifford.
Ryan Clifford.
Ryan Clifford?
Ryan Clifford, yeah.
Yes.
He got him like the 20th round, gave him way over slot. He didn't go to Vanderbilt, came to us. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I really liked him. Too.
Really good.
But I mean,
really good.
those are both outfielders, and we still have a ton of outfield.
Look, I saw Jacob Melton when he was at Oregon State. The kid is just a machine. He is like what you went into a lab in MLB The Show and you made for an outfielder is Jacob Melton.
Well, this goes to y'all's conversation about Jake Myers. I don't think you have to be concerned about Jake Myers because he either does very well and stays, or there's people knocking on the door right behind him.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's going to competition. The cream is going to rise to the top. I'm not too worried about him starting in the number 1 center fielder position to start camp and then seeing what happens from there.
The thing I'm more excited about is kind of taking the Astros way and Dusty's way and the New Age way. I feel like we're in this we're making this gumbo. Like we're throwing them, and it's finally going to be like Espada's head chef way.
Yeah. And
I'm excited because he's already talked about in front of the program, Mr. Joe Espada, Skip. We like to call him Skip around here.
Yeah.
I like how he's going to use. He already talked about how he's going to use the DH for guys and take days off to keep them in the lineup. I love that. Like, I am. When I hear that, because
every year we've done that has been successful.
It keeps the guys locked in. It's an off day for sure off the field, but they're still hitting. We're still maximizing. When there's a lot of times where it's like, fuck, this is our C team lineup. It looks like a punt. We're gonna have to grind out this win.
Yeah.
And obviously last year every fucking win mattered because it went down to the last game. I like when Espada's already talking about hey, I'm gonna weaponize the DH role, and that means Jordan's gonna be in left, but that also means hey, Dubon's value goes up way more because now Dubon's be playing the field more because guys are gonna have days off, so now you got to slot him in. I like that.
If
Keeps
you
the guys
think back
fresh.
to 2017, that's what they did. Springer would get days off and he would DH for a couple days. Gaddis filled in that role a lot.
Yeah,
but
that's right.
It wasn't, but it was kind of a revolving door. I don't think anybody had more than 40 starts.
And you can get some of these young guys at bats that way too.
Yeah.
Another name that's going to be that's going to get a lot of run is the kid that we talked about on our last podcast episode of Beyond the Diamond is Trey Cabbage.
Yeah.
I saw him talking to the media this morning. He's
Showed up
going
to
to
camp
be
early.
Yeah. So him, Chaz, and I believe Jake Myers are all there already. I think
like
Trey
that.
Cabbage will get a
I
lot
like
of run because I think Dana Brown and Joe Espada are pretty high on that kid.
I think
that
we
whole-
hit something there.
that
This
whole
is
outfield group, like somebody's going to rise to the top. There's so much talent.
Why? I mean,
going to be at camp.
I think it's Chaz's job.
I do too.
think
I think
he's
it should
proved
be.
it.
He's for sure one of the two starters. Whether he's center field or left field and center field, bouncing back and forth. But
Also, another thing just off the top of my head here is I'm really interested to see how Joe Espada runs this spring training now that he's the guy.
Oh, he already said in my interview with him, he's delegating it.
Is he?
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was one of my questions that came to mind is he's always the guy that's run it for Dusty. When Dusty was manager here, Joe Espada ran everything. Always the first guy out hitting fungo. I know I saw some video of him hitting fungo this morning, which, yeah, it's fine. I mean, guy's going to continue to hit fungo, but he's got to delegate now.
Yeah.
So how's camp going to go for him? It's going to be different.
It's going to free him up to be able to go and like build relationships with players and like
Hey,
go around.
Espada's
Do
the
whatever.
guy who got Pat Platinum Glove for Correa. Correa literally
Yeah.
talks about how Joe Espada made him
Yeah.
to how he is as a fielder. When you have a head coach that can do all that, I mean, that's exciting.
Yeah.
But he did say in he's Sports Words. I asked him, I was like, hey, like you said, you've always been the guy for Dusty. You ran the camp, which is great. I love that because it kind of gets him ready to be, the heir or successor here or somewhere else. But I like him kind of building his coaching tree up a little bit now,
Yeah.
right? Start delegating. I don't know who's delegating to Omar, whoever it is, but get those guys accustomed to it,
Yeah.
Because I think the sustained success model that we have in the culture, like when you take guys and other coaches that go to other spots, you almost have your own coaching tree. Everyone talks about the NFL, the Belichick tree, the Shanahan tree, the Andy Reid tree. Shit, why don't we grow the Espada tree?
Yeah. All right. I know we're coming up on time here. So this is my last question to you guys. What is the one thing you are most excited about for spring training? Not player. I mean, it can be a player. I know we kind of hit on some of the prospects and names that we discuss, outfielders, but what's the one thing you're most excited about for spring training?
Square grouper. Best tiki bar in America.
Are you gonna swim across the channel?
Of course I'm gonna swim across the channel. I do
Dude,
it
you
every year, dude. I do it
No.
every year.
That's one. I'm a little disappointed that I'm not going to be able to make it down there because I want to hear your stupid ass. I know I can. You remember the first time he said that to us when we went down there a couple
I'm
years
an
ago?
athlete, dog.
He was like, "I can swim across that channel and make it to the lighthouse."
I
You
did
can't.
forget about sharks. So I have
There
kind
you
of
sh-
it's been in my back of my mind.
Shout out Square
Uh,
Grouper though, because that restaurant
we love
tiki
Jupiter.
bar is phenomenal.
We love Jupiter.
Yeah,
I think I'm most excited about seeing the real Christian Javier.
came into. Hey, have you seen pictures of him?
Look
Video
good.
him? He looks good.
Look,
He looks trim.
look.
Yeah.
Fabio.
He looks
Look.
trim.
He looks good.
He does.
He looks good.
he looks good.
He looks
Exactly.
good.
Yeah. So
Javi.
so Christian Javier. All right, Josh, what do you got?
I mean, this might be real basic, but I'm just excited to see Jordan hit tanks again.
Yeah.
Like he only plays like a handful of games in spring training, I feel like. But I just hope I'm there to see him hit another tank.
So I think for me, for spring training, is a team that is coming into camp that doesn't have pressure of being the defending champs.
Ooh, a little loosey goosey.
I saw some things. Chris Gordy, one of our PD at 790, he said that the feeling in the clubhouse early, again, it's day 2, right? And it's just pitchers and catchers. Everybody feels relaxed, which has been a thing. But dude, they're not the defending champs, man, which sucks. But also, that's a really good thing for the
these
Astros.
guys that play loose.
Yeah,
Dude,
there's not,
you
there's
let
not
these-
pressure trying to like do a dynasty 3 in a row.
Yeah, man. You think about that. That's a dangerous thing for the league is you got the Houston Astros who are not the defending champs. There's some question marks, but yet they still can compete and go into camp relaxed, loose, have fun, and really get ready for a season where I think if they stay healthy, they're going to be back in the ALCS.
I think this is going to be the most fun we've had as a fan base.
That's
in
where
a while.
that's where I'm with you 100% on that.
Like I'm kind of giddy.
Yeah.
I'm
And I also think that this is going to be a year that you're going to see the best Bregman we've seen since 2019.
mashing all those mores.
You're going to see a phenomenal Framber Valdez because there is no way in hell he is going to have an up and down season like he did last year. I could be completely wrong on that, but I also just want to have the optimism, the glass half full guy. And I really, truly think that Christian Javier will have his best year yet.
I think we go as far as those two go.
I agree 100%.
And not like they need to be 20-game winners. It's just when that calendar flips over to August, those guys need to be rolling.
Big divisional series.
Those guys need to
Rangers,
be.
like, we need them to be.
When the fan base isn't trying to calculate wins and losses during a week, like kind of last year, we're like, oh fuck, okay, this guy's done this day, this guy's done this day. I want to be that back to that mentality of like, you got horses.
Yeah,
you're gonna have to have your best game to beat our B game, and that's where I think the Astros are the most deadly in the league. Is when they're rolling, they could have a C or a B game, and that team they're playing against still has to have their A game.
Yeah,
and I think that's where we're gonna be this year. I really do.
Baseball is back, baby.
So back. I do have one last question. I know you're pressed against time. I saw this on TikTok. I have to ask you guys.
Now, huh?
Big TikTok guy. How many owls would you have to see in a day to be like something's up?
I heard this. 2 owls.
2 owls.
You see one that's like oh, that's weird. You see 2 and you're like, what the fuck is going on?
How many owls? Like you wake up, go to 790, you get your
Especially
workout
Houston.
in,
Like Houston,
come here.
I've
Like
never
how
seen
many
an owl.
owls and you saw in a day and just be like, okay, something's fucking up.
Are you guys fucking with me?
No, this is the thing.
Did y'all conspire
I said
together?
3 owls. I said if I saw 3 owls in a day, I'd be like,
how often do you see an owl?
That's what I'm saying. If I saw 1 owl, I'd be like, oh, that's cool.
That's pretty cool.
2, I'd be like,
No, 2, I would immediately be like, what the fuck is going on?
if I saw 2 owls, then I'd be like, okay, like,
no,
maybe. On the third one, I'd be like, give me that tinfoil hat. Someone's after me.
Okay, I would say if I saw 1, I would have the same mindset. Like, oh, fuck yeah. Damn, that's a regal
That's a cool
creature.
owl.
That's
Harry
badass, right?
Yeah.
So then you see 2, and you're like, you can make a case, husband and wife,
Oh, okay.
husband,
could be a family
son
owl.
and daughter,
Could be, yeah.
son,
Family
or I'm
owls.
sorry, dad and son, mom and daughter, and then you see 3. You're really gonna make the case like, is that a husband, wife, and their kid? Why are 3 owls around me
The
right
guy
now?
said 11 on the podcast.
What?
And the other guy was like, oh, you see 10 owls in a day.
Oh, you're
just
just
be
gonna
like
see-
normal. And the
you're just-
11th owl is just like, that's where it breaks.
Just make it a dozen,
Yeah.
why don't you?
So I had to get y'all's opinion because I said 3. I was on 3.
I don't know, man. How often? Like,
How many
think to
times do you
myself,
see owls?
How often do you see owls, especially
not
here in Houston?
Houston,
You know,
maybe-
Well,
Maybe
we have the
they're
rice
not
owls.
tourists.
We have the rice owls.
true.
But
They're nocturnal, by the way.
yeah, I'd be like,
Especially if it's during the day. If it's like at noon,
Oh,
and
dude,
I'm
if I
seeing an owl-
if I see an owl in the day, I'm fucking freaking out.
dude, yeah.
Like, let's get you back to your nest. You need to go to sleep.
I'm going back to sleep. There's like some conjuring thing going on. Just chalk the day up.
Oh
What
man,
what a way to end the last podcast filmed in this office.
Oh yeah,
Wow.
we'll be
Man, that's
in a
bittersweet,
new
man.
office. Oh,
that's pretty.
Why'd you say that, dude?
That's
I wanted it
such
was supposed to be a surprise for everyone.
Well, he can cut it just
Well-
like we cut. What we were talking about earlier.
What's the surprise?
The fucking brand new office.
I
we
mean, the
have.
surprise
It's
will
gonna
be like how-
surprise. We're getting a brand new office.
the surprise will be how cool it looks. When they see it.
You're gonna see.
And
We'll
it-
have a month hiatus. We'll be obviously recording, but we'll be from our homes
Or spring training.
and then opening day we'll have our new office fully built out. Maybe we'll do a little like a community thing. They come and a little
Potentially,
gala
yeah.
thing. Yeah. But yeah, thank you to our sponsors, Big City Wings, Houston's Wing Joint, Apollo's Wing Joint. Super Bowl just happened. March Madness is about to kick off. Go to Big City Wings. Celebrity Mint and US Coins and Jewelry. They are actually doing an event next Saturday. Coins, Cards, and Coffee. Terry Poole and Phil Garner are going to be out there. I will be out there for a bit to go see those boys, hang out with the Duncan brothers. And without them, none of this happens. So shout out to our sponsors. And
Yeah.
There we go. Baseball
out.
season is
We're
back,
so back.
baby.
Yes, sir. Thank you for watching and listening to Beyond the Diamond podcast. I'm Josh. That's Dez and Brian, and we will see you next time.
Co. Love you
And
guys.
Co.
And Co. Love you
Josh
guys.
and Co.
Love you guys. Peace.